Well, I mean, the first half, if you looked at the stat sheet, the stat sheets were virtually identical. You know, there were 14 made field goals by each team. Each team had a very similar number of rebounds and assists and turnovers, and the one difference was 12 free throws to 4, and that resulted in a 9-point differential. So we're down 10, and we're -9 at the free throw line at home. So we got to do a better job, I would imagine, of not fouling and putting ourselves behind early in the game. That aside, it was atrocious defense out there, and it was and that's our responsibility as staff. And we've had an identity for most of the season of getting stops, and USC's a good team. Drew Peterson's a heck of a player. Ellis, these guys, they're bigs. The freshman who just became eligible, kid Vince, has got a bright future. I mean, they got a lot of good players, and they've won a lot of games this year. So you look at it that way, but at the same time, we've given up now back-to-back games, virtually 50%. Shooting from the field when we've been holding teams mainly in the mid-30s. So we got to get back to the drawing board at that end of the floor and figure out how we could put guys on the floor that are going to play with energy, the necessary energy, and value the defensive end of the floor, because we're not going to outscore people in a shootout. That's just not how we're built. So we'll figure it out. We got days to do it. We've dropped 2 at home to 2 very good teams. We're still in a very good position in our league. And now we got to make up for it, because you lost 2 at home, and now you got to go figure out how to get those back through the last 11 games.
Coach, did you kind of sense that maybe the energy was lacking on defense early, and maybe that was a hangover from the other game?
I'm not gonna sit and make excuses. I mean, we tried to we knew how hard the guys played on Thursday night, and so we rested them. We didn't over practice them yesterday. There's no reason that guys at their age physically they can't respond after 36 hours or whatever the time frame is. So I think that we just mentally didn't have the right enthusiasm to play, and that's the responsibility of the coaches to make sure that guys are playing frenetically with great energy. We had 4 deflections at halftime. We had 0 in the first 6 minutes of the second half. I mean, we had over 30 versus UCLA, and so we had no activity. There was, and we have to do something about it. And the only positive thing you can say really is, I approve of the scrambling mode of our last 4 minutes, and just how guys tried a lot harder, and hopefully we could build off that and put guys on the floor that are going to give maximum effort when they're out.
You look at the struggles of DJ Horn tonight in the second half of UCLA. Is there any common thread you're seeing? Because obviously it's an aberration compared to the body of work all season.
DJ, is had just kind of a blank expression. Never really was fully engaged in the game, so I can't. I've seen him where I've had to calm him down, because sometimes his emotions, he gets too emotional. I just it's rare that I take him out of the game. Again, I can't. I don't. He'd have to tell you his thoughts on that, but that would be what I saw.
It seems kind of surprising to you that this happened. It's hard to say maybe if it was an emotional lapse after UCLA or whatever, but kind of what's your sort of take on what might have led to this?
I mean, we've been fighters all year, so it's very hard to watch that, because that's not. It's like you're watching an entirely different team, and you're not watching who you've seen most of the season. So it's I'm going to have to just get after it in the film and see what all the mistakes were, and try and correct them, and get guys on the floor that want to go all out all the time, because that's kind of who we are. I'm keeping everything in perspective too. Is we're 15-5, and we're 6-3 in the league, and although these last couple of days are disappointing, we've still put ourselves in a strong position. We just got to go get back out there and start winning games again.
Devin only had 6 minutes played in the first half out of foul trouble. How did him getting in foul trouble affect the defense the rest of the way?
I mean, he impacts it, rebounding, and we wanted him on Peterson, so we didn't get a chance to do that a whole lot. And but yeah, I mean, he wasn't great early, either. I mean, none of the guys played well. I mean, it was so. I mean, it's hard to say what the impact of that was. I mean, Warren statistically, and he tried really hard and stuff. So I guess you could look at his performance and be pleased, but outside of that, it's hard to find a lot of positives.
Coach, you played with a lot of passion and intensity yourself. How hard is that for you to watch? And do you relate to a performance like that when you played, or is that foreign to you?
I can't understand it, and again, it's. I think the reason I've connected so much with this team and this group is because we've had some guys that weren't recruited heavily, that were overlooked, that play with a chip on their shoulder, and we certainly didn't have a chip on our shoulder today. We didn't, and that's why I've really appreciated this team so much, is because of how hard they've competed and how they get after it, and that's why so many people have enjoyed watching us through most of the year, but not tonight.
What did you think about how you handled the zone?
I thought that we needed to attack the middle part of the zone and the sides of the lane. They were virtually wide open. I thought when we were stuck on 18, them switching to it, it took us again, like, hopefully this doesn't happen every time someone plays zone. It took like 2 or 3 minutes offensively to figure out where the weakness was and attack it. But and I think Gaffney had a turnaround jump shot, and Luther had a few chances, just didn't connect. So I didn't think that was really the issue. I think it's all goes back to how we're competing and how hard we're playing on defense. It just was non-existent time.
Warren, Bobby was pretty critical just now of your guys' effort, intensity on defense. What did you think about that part of the game?
I feel like it was flat out embarrassing. We embarrassed our fans, we embarrassed ourselves, we embarrassed the community. Honestly, it's just embarrassing. I don't have much to say about it. It's embarrassing.
Can you put your finger on what might have led to something like that?
Man, that's too long of an answer, honestly. We just got to get back in the gym and prepare for next week.
Do you feel like their length really gave issues to you guys, Belmont?
Yeah, I feel like their length gave us issues, but at the same time, we could have adjusted to that and done better overall.
Scored the last 16 points, though. Are you at least proud of the effort at the end?
Nope, I'm never happy with the loss, regardless of how I played.
Did you have any sense that something like that might happen? Like, anything different before the game, or?
My mindset's always about winning and doing my job to win. I never think about that type of stuff. Yeah. So
what can you guys learn collectively from this?
Can't take anybody lightly. We can't take no games off. Every game you got to play like a championship game. Honestly.
How do you now regroup? It's a tougher schedule here as far as the rest of the Pac-12 on the way out. It's going to get tougher. How do you kind of get back in the right mindset?
We got to attack the film. We got to get back in the gym, figure out what we did wrong, and just make sure that we're doing a better job overall next week.